Good day. I am Takeshi L. Miyaguchi, and I will be discussing Section 2, Section 10, Section 11, Section 12, and Section 18 of the CMO 3 2022, or the revised rules on the establishment, supervision, operation, and control of customs bonded warehouses. So first, Section 2, Administrative Provisions. In this section, the order sets out foundational administrative rules for CBWs. It specifies the licensing, accreditation, and documentation requirements for operations. Among the specific documents required are: first, the authority to operate. This is issued by the relevant collection district for the CBW operator. Next is the 201 file or the CBW application file, which includes financial statements, layout plan, inventory management system details as part of the operator's compliance and obligations. Next, or the third requirement, is the digital logs and inventories tied to the CBW management system or ICT enabled system for record keeping and monitoring of goods in the warehouse. So these documents are serve purposes for ensuring CBWs are properly authorized, monitored, and auditable. They enable the Bureau of Customs to supervise operations, protect government revenue, and maintain transparency in bonded warehouse activity. So sections 10, 11, and 12. These sections focus on the documentation required for the withdrawals, transfers, and warehousing operations. The key documents identified includes: first is the requisition slip or withdrawal form for goods being moved out or used, which must be accompany any withdrawal of bonded goods without immediate payment duties. So this is from section 10. Next section is section 11. Transfer note or the boat note. For transfer of goods from one CBW to another or to an extension warehouse, especially when structural changes or facility extensions are involved. Next is the goods declaration for warehousing. When goods are imported under the warehousing regime and later moved into the CBW. So this is section 12. So the purpose of these documents is to create a documented trail of goods where they entered, how they were stored, and how and when they were withdrawn or transferred. This ensures that bonded status is maintained properly. Duties are paid when required, and the BOC can validate operations and enforce compliance. Next is section 18, suspension and closure of CBW. This section sets out conditions under which a CBW can be suspended or closed, how the process works, and what obligation follow. So, first is grounds for closure include unauthorized structural changes, unauthorized withdrawals. These are withdrawals without the required forms, inactivity for more than 1 year, or misrepresentation in renewal applications. Next, once closure is ordered, the district collector issues a closure order. The CBW operator must immediately surrender books and records. An inventory of all imported goods, raw materials, goods in process, and finished goods must be conducted under supervision. Next, all goods in the CBW become subject to duty or taxes unless previously authorized. The expenses of sealing, guarding, and transition are borne by the operator. So the purpose of this mechanism is to safeguard government revenue and to ensure that CBWs do not operate outside the rules or allow bonded goods to be misused. Next, we will be tackling about the penalties, violation, and the 'Alongside suspension or closure, The order reinforces the compliance regime. Violations such as withdrawals without the correct documentation, misreporting, unauthorized modifications trigger administrative penalties. Audit or inventory inspections, possible revocation of accreditation, and judicial remedies. Operators must maintain full cooperation with the audits, keep accurate records, and operate within the limits of their license. Failure to comply results in sanctions, including the loss of CBW status, payment of duties and taxes, and other enforcement actions. Thank you.